Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo. Welcome back to the channel. I am very excited to introduce to you my guest for today. We have none other than the very, very fabulous NXT superstar, Franky Monet. What's up, Franky?
Hi, Denise. How are you? So nice to see you. I haven't seen you in so long.
I know it's actually been, I think, maybe about a year or so since the last time we saw each other. So it's been very cool to see everything that has happened in your life, Franky. And so I kind of want to start off with that. You essentially just started on this new adventure in your life, signing with WWE. And as somebody who has worked all over the world and really put the work in to get to this moment, I kind of want to know what your thoughts have been now that you're part of the roster.
It's been very surreal. And I feel like even though I've officially been signed with WWE since February, the end of February when it was announced, I still have moments like, at the Performance Center or when I'm speaking with agents and different people where I'm like, what is my life? Like, it's just, I don't know, when you work really hard for years and you have this dream that sometimes it seems like you're the only person that can see it. Like when you actually achieve it, it's just incredible.
You mentioned the fact that you're like, when you're the only person who sees this vision and you're like, I know what I can be, I know what I can do. So let's kind of talk about that a little bit. So, getting to this moment in your career, signing with the company, what would you say were some of like the biggest challenges that you faced in your career to, eventually get up into this point?
I feel, and some people have touched on this, I've seen on social media, is that one of the biggest, hardest things to do is from coming from somewhere like Canada, is really trying to find your footing and get the exposure that you need to be recognized by international companies. And that's one of the main reasons that I jumped straight to going to Mexico, because that was where I could work and be working with the television product and be seen and be learning from some of the best professional luchadors in the world, to be able to be recognized to advance, through professional wrestling. And that is ultimately what happened. So that was definitely the hardest step. But through it all, just like anything, there's going to be people who don't believe in you and you get told no 1 million times, but it's always just that one time that when they say yes, that every hardship, every tear, every bruise, every broken nose, everything was worth it to get there. And ultimately, this is where I've wanted to be. This is where I have strived to be. And I'm so proud to be part finally of the WWE universe and for the WWE universe to get to know who I am.
So now let's talk about that moment that you got offered this contract and you're like, okay, this is it. This is happening. Tell us about all of that, how that went down, and maybe your reaction during that moment.
Just there was a lot of like kind of silence on my end too, because I was just like, this isn't really happening. Are they really calling me? Or is what kind of, are you sure? Or is this really real? Is someone, prank calling me? You never know. I've had so many weird things happen to me that I just like, I always go to like the worst scenario, right? I mean, this is just what we've kind of been taught to never get excited until something is like there. And, I think that I just didn't allow myself to be fully excited about this until I was like walking into the Performance Center and I was shaking Triple H's hand, wearing the shirt, doing the stuff. Like that was when I think it really, really set in, because obviously the process is a long one. There's obviously so many steps that go into it. And just, I just tried to contain myself until it was like actually happening. And then when it did, I was just like, oh no, this is real.
Yeah, you gotta have a moment to like soak it all in,
Yeah, and I obviously don't tell anybody. You don't tell anybody what's going on because it's such a lengthy process, and because you never know what's going to happen. And I'm just so paranoid that I just kind of kept it to myself. And obviously John knew and everything, but it was a surreal moment, and I'm just so happy where I am. I'm just every day I feel like I want to pinch myself. It's so corny, but it's true. I just wanted this for so long, and to be finally there, to be finally working with everybody at the Performance Center, to be working as part of WWE and having my story be told and represented, as this being a sign of my growth as a performer, as a human being, it's incredible.
I think so too, especially because you've had this such an amazing story to get here. And like I remember like when I first discovered you, I was like, oh my God, like she's from Canada and she's out there wrestling in Mexico. And like, as a fellow Mexican, like I couldn't help but to feel a lot of pride in seeing that. Like seeing you do that, it makes you think like, you know what? She knew what was up. She went down there and, she learned and everything that you did from that point on. So here's the thing is that obviously you're no stranger to the hard work. You're no stranger to, picking up, uprooting your life and completely changing it. What has life been like in Florida now? What has it been like? And what would you say have been the biggest adjustments you've had to make?
It's very humid. The weather is crazy coming from Canada, Mexico, Los Angeles, and now Florida. Honestly, it's been great. I think the other thing that has been really cool is there are so many people down here that I have crossed paths with that are also now like through all these kind of winding paths of professional wrestling. We've all been led to this one wonderful spot, which is the Performance Center. So it's been I felt very welcomed. I didn't feel like I had no friends. I had tons of people that I know here in Orlando, and obviously having John here with me. And since Raw has been filming in Tampa for the last however many months, it's been very convenient for him too. And we're just kind of taking it day by day and kind of getting ourselves set up and figuring out, how the Florida life works. But so far, so good. It's just a lot more lizards and bugs.
You're like, no, not the lizards or the bugs.
You walk outside and it's like this miniature scene from like Jurassic Park.
Oh God. I feel for you on that end.
Yeah, but it's been great. I mean, it's obviously an adjustment. I've always said that I feel like I'm kind of a gypsy because I've always kind of moved. Even when I finished high school, I moved to a different province in Canada to pursue my dancing and university and everything. So I've kind of always been moving around. So the moving part wasn't really the scariest part or anything. It's just always that, those few months of getting acclimated and figuring out where stuff is and like finding your new favorite brunch spot or like something like that. But so far, so good.
Amazing. So now let's talk about, because I'm looking at your background here and I'm seeing some fur, I believe, in the back, lots of clothing, some shoes. I'm seeing a lot. And this is definitely what I would expect from Franky Monet, the hot pink, everything. Okay. So let's talk about Franky Monet, the persona, the inspiration. I kind of really want to get your thoughts on putting together this new persona of Franky Monet.
Well, I feel like Franky is honestly just a different evolution or a different chapter within my professional wrestling book of my life, basically. So she's just an elevated version of who Taya Valkyrie was. I get inspired by a lot of art, like music artists and movies and television. So I think I take little bits of all these people that I like or enjoy watching and kind of mishmash it into one. So there's a lot of Lady Gaga and Franky Monet. There's a little bit of Erica Jane from The Housewives. There's a little bit of, Marilyn Monroe, or maybe even, there's just so many different kind of iconic blondes or iconic people that I really think are cool or interesting, or maybe have strange quirks that will piss people off or make them happy. And I've kind of smushed them all together and made this Franky Monet-ness that you see before you every Tuesday night on NXT.
So let's talk about your NXT debut. You essentially confronted the new NXT Women's Champion, Raquel Gonzalez. What was running through your mind? Describe that moment for us.
I was just so excited about being there and just like, okay, like this is happening. And I have Presley, and like the most concerning thing I had was getting into the ring holding Presley, because I was like, please don't trip or something, it was crazy. But we did we practiced everything and walked through it. And like Raquel is so talented and has such a powerful presence. And so she was really great to kind of have that moment with. And so is Dakota. I mean, the entire women's division is on fire across the board from NXT to Raw and to SmackDown. So it was very cool to have that moment with her. I'm not going to be waiting in the back. I want to confront everyone. I want every single one of these women to know who I am and to recognize who's La Güera Loca, where I come from, and what I bring to the table. Do not ever judge a book by its cover. I might be in floofy clothes, bright colors, have platinum blonde hair, and carry a small dog. But when it comes to my real ring work, what I have demonstrated in the past, what I plan on doing in the future, it's always 110%. And because of my past and like all these kind of different styles that I've combined to create my style, I'm very unpredictable. I love violence, and I have no problem stepping up to anybody within the WWE universe and on our roster.
I love it. Very Legally Blonde, where you're like, I look this way, but that doesn't mean that I can't do these things. I mean,
Yes.
It's incredible. It's very exciting.
Al Woods of me, yes.
Yeah, very Al Woods. I love it. You briefly touched right now on the NXT women's division, and that is, a very, very talented group of women there. What does it feel like for you to, basically just be part of all of that? And just, what do you think fans can also get from Franky Monet? You have your encore presentation coming this week. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, it's validation. It's validating all these years of struggling and being poor and not knowing when the next, when the next show is going to be or how I'm going to get there, or the 17 hours on a bus from Laredo, Mexico to Mexico City over and over again. It's just like all these different things that are just like, all that work is validated by the fact that I am, in this position with these absolutely amazing, talented women from all over the world. And what you can expect from me tomorrow on NXT and my encore performance is a lot of the same. And just you're just going to see what I came to do, which is win, which is go after championships, which is to create my own legacy and, leave my imprint within the WWE universe.
Franky, that is our interview. Thank you so much for chatting with me today. It was very nice to get an insight on the Franky Monet persona and everything that has happened in your life since the last time we spoke. Before we go, feel free to plug in your social media or anything you'd like to plug in.
Yes, if everybody could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Franky Monet WWE. And I actually have a movie coming out on Amazon Prime July 2nd called Unchained. So make sure to check that out and let me know what you think. The most important thing of all, make sure you check out NXT tomorrow night at 8/7 Central on the USA Network. We're going to have the arriving Diamond Mine. We're going to have Adam Cole, Kushida, Kyle O'Reilly, and the most important one, me, Franky Monet, in my encore performance.
Do not miss that, guys. I'm going to go ahead and post the links in the description box below where you can follow Franky. Do not miss NXT every Tuesday. And until next time, I'm Denise Salcedo. This is Franky Monet, and we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye, everyone.